Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Look, it's been one heck of a week, right? Today is not one of those Fridays where I actually made profit. And, yep, I'm bringing up the conversation that most traders end up not talking about. The situation that happens when you had a good trading week, the elephant in the room, and you did not finish off profitable, or maybe you did not finish off with that one trade you thought was going to hit. So how do we go about that? Believe it or not, how you treat these losses or how you carry yourself going over the weekend has a lot to do with how you perform next week. Because if you don't prepare your mental frame and accept the loss or learn from it throughout the weekend, you're gonna come back on these starts with a terrible attitude, and that is already a recipe for disaster. Trust me, I've been there. All right. So here's some pretty good tips that I'm going to give you, and we're actually going to break down the pair that I didn't do so well at. I'll tell you why, and I'm going to keep it quite honest and open with you, so at least you can learn from this experience. And of course, I want to bring some value to you on this good old Friday afternoon. Okay, so what we're going to do is to share the screen here. All right. So here's what was going on. I was actually taking a look at Nas100. In fact, this is not the right chart, but it's the same setup. At first, price was buying, as you guys may or may not know, for those of you guys who traded Nas today. And price had a good little run. It all started from here. They bought, pulled back, and this was around the 8:30 hours. I was not trading this. And when I got into the trade, I thought that price was just going to stop at the breaker block right here. What they ended up doing is using this area as liquidity, and let's go down to the M1 to show you guys what really went down if you didn't identify it. Okay, so they actually capitalized off of this demand right here. This order block was sitting pretty. Let me unlock this right here. Okay, and they bought. Because I took a loss here, I was feeling a little uneasy taking this trade. But of course, the green ray did pop up, and this is where the first thing is that I wanted to break down. First of all, I should have been okay re-entering this trade because this is a sell side liquidity that's coming down into the demand zone. This is a trade that I should have been comfortable with because it was less risky. Right, I could have gotten away with putting the minimal stop loss, that is what, 18 points or 20 points, which is basically 200 pips. And I probably would have gotten away with risking less and catching a nice little bag. So if we go to trading view and let's hit the replay, let's start from 825. Okay, so we're looking at the way this chart is looking is 725. You're looking at the market. Market is right here. There's demand right there. And what ended up happening was, let's hit the replay. It's 8:15. They already started pushing up. And what happened next? Big move, took out stop losses, all that jazz. It was ugly. All right. This is NFP. So I already knew I did not want to be part of all this noise. That's one thing for sure. Two things for certain. Right. However, when price was pulling back down here, come on now, come back down. Okay, they made the higher high. This is usually where the green ray is popping up. We'll show that in a second. And price actually pulled back against that previous rally. Okay, so they're mitigating. By the way, on TradingView, this wick was crazy long, right? But it did not show up neither on MT4 or MT4 mobile or MT4 for laptops. So this was kind of confusing already as it is. So when price actually pulled back into this point, I hesitated and they started pulling and going higher. However, if I had gone down to like the 1 minute time frame, as I had showed you guys previously, I probably would have gotten in this trade, put the stop loss there. So between 10:30 or 10:45, it looks like this was a good rally that's going to actually go higher to push up and take out liquidity from yesterday or the day before's range. So I was kind of waiting for that. The way this candle was looking, you know the deal. It looked promising. I remember at a certain point, I was in this trade for a buy, and I was like, okay, let me go take a nap, give it an hour, see if price actually goes and grabs liquidity. So as the hours went by, price started struggling, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly price is using this as a base before they rally. However, it got to a point where they were losing steam. This is why having good risk management is important, because at that moment I got into a buy, I had gotten into a sell, it didn't play well. I tried getting into a buy again, and I was like, you know what? It's getting to that point where my competitive spirit and my frustration, I'm starting to feel it trigger. And I said, you know what? I'm done for the day. Because if I'm not done for the day, it's going to get ugly. So this is one of the main things I wanted to tell you guys. Like, you have to have a good posture, meaning like you have to have a good way of managing your emotions alongside having good risk management, because your behavior is going to determine how much you risk and how much you lose. If you're an aggressive trader, then you already know you're losing a lot if you're risking a lot. If you're a conservative person and you're also the type of person who is level-headed, right, it'll help you to risk less. So as price started doing this, let's go ahead and switch back to the indicator. Typically, the white ray on the M15 doesn't miss. All right, so I was really making sure this time it did the same scenario. Now, what do we know about the white ray here? As price ran back up to the zone, I quickly realized that we might be returning back to the order block, which is a strong resistance or supply zone here, right? So since I had already taken a loss, I just had to walk away from the charts. But it was still a good lesson to learn from, because had I returned back on these entries, I would have gotten in a position right here, and at that point, as price started rolling back down, more than likely I would have my take profit just below here, because I'm thinking this might be just one of those demands that price is going to use. Why? Because once the white ray shows me that price has reached an area of resistance, then chances are once price breaks structure, pulls back, I have more of a probability to risk and place my stop loss above the ray. That should be fine. By the way, M15 white ray does not miss. You can trust it. And of course, you're still going to have to risk properly. Why is it important to risk properly? Because as price was just kind of looking like it had trouble figuring out where it was going, it gave a little bit of uncertainty. However, how you risk is how you're going to come out either profitable overall for the week, or end up giving everything back in just one day. Okay, so I could have put some entries little by little and gradually take advantage of this this reversal, right? Which means I had to know what I'm comfortable risking. It looks like we're about 75 points away, which means if I put a 0.01 as my first entry, I'm risking $75. If I add another 0.01, that's 75 times 2, which I'm pretty sure is about 150, right? So on a smaller account, let's do this. 150 divided by 2, just 75, exactly. So now remember this. You only risk aggressively in the setups that are high quality. If you're doubtful, being aggressive is not the strategy to use. Okay, let me repeat that again. You should only be aggressive or risk a little bit more according to your account size based on the quality of the trade. So if I'm doubtful of this scenario here, right? By the way, the white ray should have gave me more confidence, but of course I had already taken my losses. I should go about taking this cautiously, right? As soon as price dropped about 147 points, I would have been more than good for the day. That would have been it, you know? But because I already had traded aggressively in the beginning, it made me feel uncomfortable. I already took my losses. It was just not a good deal. However, had I gone about it a different way and using much more gradual lot sizes, it would have helped for me to once again reconsider taking the trade. In conclusion, we're not going to win all of our trades, but you should also consider these experiences as lessons that you had invested towards. Yes, it didn't play out very well, but it gave me more of an experience to know how to manage my risk next time, or how to pretty much use that experience and pass it on to you, who's probably watching this video right now and frustrated that your week did not turn out so well. You know, everybody posts the content of their profit, but not ever so often do you find people who really break down something that happened to them throughout the week to help somebody else in their journey. All right. So what I want to tell you is this: you're not going to win every trade. And the ones that bite you the most, the one that knocks your teeth out the most, your stop loss gets hit and it stings the most, are the ones that are going to frustrate you and keep you obsessed to figure out how to be better next time. So don't be too hard on yourself. It happens, but just be mindful next time, be wise, and use this as a highlight tape, man. Like, go back into the drawing board and just take a look at what you did and figure out how to do things differently. All right. So risk management and your posture, your attitude towards loss is really going to help you in the future in order for you to be more confident, even in those days where you don't end up being as profitable. So hopefully this video brought some value to you. On a Friday, I think this is one of the best videos that could have helped you out, because let's be honest, we all take our losses and then we keep it to ourselves, and it's part of the game. What's the point of being shameful about it? So guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Peace, love, and blessings.